I never expected my life to take such a complicated turn when I moved into my apartment at East Legon. The area was quiet, the neighbors were friendly, and I was just looking forward to some peace and stability. Then I met Audrey. Audrey lived not too far from me, and we got along from the very start. She was fun, lively, and we could talk for hours without getting bored. It wasn't long before I started developing feelings for her, but I knew better than to act on them. She had a fiancé, someone who worked in Kumasi and only came home occasionally. Out of respect for their relationship, I kept my distance and made sure nothing inappropriate happened between us. But things took a turn one evening when she called me in tears. Her fiancé had come home for the holidays, but she had just found out he was cheating on her. She was devastated, and I was the person she reached out to. I did my best to comfort her, told her to stay calm and talk things through with him. A few days later, she came back with good news. They had worked things out, and apparently, the guy had ended his affair with the other woman. At first, I was relieved. But then, something shifted between us. Audrey started getting flirty, really flirty, and I tried to brush it off, telling her it wasn't right, not when she was still with her fiancé. She just laughed and said, "Come on, David, I know you're in love with me. Stop pretending." I didn't know what to say to that. She wasn't wrong, but I wasn't going to admit it either. Then came that night. She showed up at my door in the middle of the night, saying she had lost her key on her way back from a friend's place. She asked if she could crash at my place. It was late, and I didn't want to leave her stranded, so I let her in. What was supposed to be an innocent favor turned into something else entirely. We ended up having sex. I felt awful the next morning and called her to apologize, but she wasn't fazed at all. "It's fine, David," she said. "Honestly, I wanted it more than you did." We both agreed it was a mistake that shouldn't happen again. But we failed. One time became two, then three, and before I knew it, it had become a regular thing. I knew it was wrong. I was getting in deeper, and she still wasn't planning on leaving her fiancé. Months later, I realized I couldn't live like this anymore. I needed someone for myself, someone who was all mine, not someone splitting their love and loyalty between me and another man. I told Audrey it had to stop. I told her she needed to choose, either leave her fiancé and be with me, or we had to end things for good. She looked me in the eye and said, "I love you, David, but I can't break up with him." That was the moment I decided to cut ties. A few weeks later, I met someone else, Sophia. From the start, everything with her felt perfect. She was smart, kind, beautiful, and we just clicked. It didn't take long for us to confess our feelings for each other. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could finally have the kind of relationship I wanted. No secrets. No complications. But Audrey wasn't done with me. Somehow, she found out about Sophia, and that's when the trouble began. It started with snide remarks, subtle digs. Then the threats began. Audrey warned Sophia to stay away from me, saying she'd regret it if she didn't. The messages escalated into full-blown death threats. Sophia was terrified, and to be honest, I was too. Sophia came to me one evening, shaking, and told me she didn't know if she could keep doing this. She loved me, but she couldn't risk her life for me, and as the only child of her parents, she couldn't put them through that kind of pain. She wanted to end things. I couldn't blame her. Audrey's behavior had spiraled out of control, and I knew I had to do something. My friends told me I should tell Audrey's fiancé what was going on, that maybe he needed to know who he was about to marry. But another part of me felt guilty. They were planning to get married in December, and the last thing I wanted to do was ruin their relationship. Even if Audrey was destroying mine. I was torn. Do I expose her? Do I confront her? Or do I try to protect Sophia from a distance and hope that Audrey backs off? The days passed, and things got worse. Sophia was slipping away, and I felt like I was losing the best thing that had ever happened to me. I had to make a choice, and I knew whichever decision I made, there would be consequences.
What would you do if you were me? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories just like this one.